Hello and welcome to Fish Easy on a Saturday afternoon, 4:11 p.m. Eastern Time. Yes, thank you everybody for joining. I see there's already a few people waiting. I appreciate that very much. We're looking here at the checkerboard cichlids, spade tails. And as you can see, those are the Decrossus maculatus. They're really looking sharp. And of course, I selected out of what checkered barbs I had, a couple of pair for myself, and they're here at the forefront also, asking for handouts. And the one platinum tiger barb that we raised out of the batch, it was kind of disappointing that we only ended up with one particular uh, tiger barb out of the whole batch, but I've never had large clutches with those anyway. But interestingly enough, this one is sure nice looking. When he was smaller too, the shine on him is just outstanding. Anyway, so here we are. I've kind of been juggling fish all week. This is quick look. Also in the tank is, as you see here, Fricatus, a batch that came out of the mops. So hope that you enjoyed that just quick brief at a particular tank. Today's live show is going to cover a new spawn this week in the fish room. And hello, everybody. Red Laser, hello. And I see also a couple of others who've joined us. Let me get positioned here without dropping the camera. And Stubbs Aquatics, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. UNC 13 Buck, thank you very much for joining. And got a lot of little things to share, but I don't have a lot of time. I'm suffering from a cold, so if my voice sounds a little funny, that's why. And I'm going to just be brief today because of the coughing, and I don't want to cough on you, you know, kind of thing. But there's so many little things that happened this week that I just wanted to share a couple of tidbits and some interesting news. We have a first in the fish room, and that is with the red lizards. If you noticed in the in the description down below, I've linked a video, and I'll just mention this video I watched this week about the red lizards, and something about red lizard catfish, the L010a. I learned a lot of things in doing research because there's a story behind these catfish. Before I get too crazy, just so you know, there's a link below in the description of this video, and that link is to Longfin Lagoons, who had a nice video, well done, on not so much the details of the species, but as much as watching the eggs hatch and grow. And I thought that was very interesting the way he presented that information. Very, very, very much worth a watch, and you'll get to see that from Longfin Lagoon, which is interesting. One of our members here, one of our subscribers here. So let's take a look at the red lizard placos. I have them for some time over in this tank that's behind, and this is where I've been keeping, as you know. I do have a tragedy this week. I don't know if you're listening, Roman, but my in this tank was also my pair of Borellii. So what you're looking at there is a female Borellii. The male died. I only have two more males left. Hey Toby, hey S, Sandy Diamond, welcome. And that little what we call that is a German blue, probably. I don't know what it is, because sometimes when they hang on the back filters are hung on this tank, I get what they call escapees, and they escape into this tank. So I get, yeah, she's looking good. I don't know if she killed the male or what. I have two other younger males in the tank above, but they're just too young to be breeding yet. So, but this is my tank where where are they? You know, they must be camera shy. I don't even see the red lizards. it was funny because there's a story behind them. I got two of them from somebody who was tearing down his fish room, and Scott, his name is, and he was in our club. So he gave me two of them, and it turns out that they were both females. I hunted and hunted and hunted for a male, and I did not find a single male anywhere. Nobody, but boy, they're hidden well in these rocks. I don't see a one. Huh. Oh, is there a red lizard? Maybe they're in this plastic bush. Oh, there he is. He is in a plastic bush. There we go. So, yeah. So you got some Dickensia barbs, huh? I want to see pictures. Please send. Toby, thank you. Good to see you. And what's interesting is that the male and the female of the red lizard, I wasn't even sure how to sex them, but actually now when they're mature, it's quite easy. If you look, you're not able to see anything here. Come on, guys. We're gonna have to. There we go. There he is. How about that? So when I first got them, I thought, well, how do you tell the males from the females? Well, this is a female. Right along the edge of the snout, you'll see the odontids, and what they kind of look like. It's like white furring on these fish. So the male has it. There's two females and one male in this tank. So, oh, there's one right there. So there's the other one. Okay, he's got his back to us. I don't want to see the underside. I want to see the front. Let me see if I can turn him around a little bit. Okay, is that the female or the male? It's kind of hard to see. That looks like the other female. The male, one of these females, then bred with the male in here. And so, as you know, I learned something about these fish I didn't know before. And I've seen Aqua Malik breed these, and he's used different caves. But if you go on Planet Catfish, there's a long write-up on these, and what they say is that these fish prefer open-ended caves over closed-ended caves. So that was something new to me, and it just so happens, due to all I had was this cave right here. I had this cave, and that's all I had. It was an open-ended cave, and so they went right into it. The two of them, for 24 hours, they were bustling inside. Finally, they came out, and I had to remove it after a day. Excuse me, my throat. And the reason why is because the eggs were getting kicked out, and I was afraid to lose everything. So as you can see right now, there's one fungusing that was outside, and there's two eggs sitting out there. There's one outside just the cave. And let's see. Just take a look inside to see if there's any more fungus going on. I don't know. I haven't looked in today. Maybe I'm going to lose them all, because the male's not in there. Let me see. But he was... I was afraid to lose him. Let me shine some light. This may be a first attempt that's not going to bring about any fruition, but I do have... There we go. Come on. There we go. Good view there. Okay. They look okay. I'll have to take a closer look at them. So, they just laid on the side of this open-ended cave. Two of them. So, they preferred this cave, and I had thought that I needed to get my other cave in there if I was going to breed them. And it turns out that I don't. Let's see if I can see it better from this angle. Oh yeah, I can see almost better here. There we go. So there's the clutch. Now they take a good amount of time. It seems as though they take probably 10 days to hatch, 14 days maybe. Everything I've read is kind of inconsistent, but definitely not 3 days like the rams. So that's something else. And while I'm here, you got to see the progress on these guys. I'm just staring at this tank of Discus, and they're just eating away at mom and dad. I guess I could throw more brine shrimp in there. Yeah. Yeah, please hit the like button. If you're on the replay crew, please mention that below. And if you have a question, please be so kind as to leave your question. I'll be happy to answer them. So I wanted to, and today, this morning, guess who's going back down on eggs? We got another egg. They've been laying all morning long. I think they're stopped now. Another set. But I'll tell you, they keep laying eggs. But then they eat the eggs or eat the babies. And then they lay eggs again. I don't know about that pair. Fortunately, I've got about 3 dozen young Discus from that pair, and they were successful. So that pair is sometimes successful and sometimes not, so I just be patient. Maybe they'll get this one right, maybe they won't, I don't know. So with the red lizards, the story was I had the 2 females, so I felt like, well, what's the good of having them? And I knew over in Toronto, Aqua Malik had the red lizards, so I just bagged them up and took them over to him and said, hey, these are for you in your breeding program. I can't do much breeding here with 2 females. So he took them, and I think one died, and then the other female had babies. So I was able to get about 6 back from Malik at a later date, 6 young red lizards, and that's what you're seeing there. And they're old enough now, and they're breeding. So I'm very happy about that. So this is the first time I've got red lizards breeding in my fish room, and that's at least a great start. I'll put as soon as they hatch, I'll put the cave right back in. There's always the other female. Maybe I can get some more. So the tank isn't anything in particular. Maybe close to 80 degrees because I got hugged on there. Several of my I hung on there several of my breeder boxes. I keep it up there at a consistent temperature. And most of the food they get is what gets spilled over from the breeder boxes. So they get brain shrimp almost daily. So that's why they look kind of fat. I think they're getting too well fed. So that's what's going on in the fish room. I just wanted to share that tremendously. Before I go, I just wanted to definitely mention a question that came in from one of the viewers from 2 weeks ago from Joe. Let me read it. So this was a great question, and so I thought it would be nice to do a mailbag section right now. So I'd like to talk about this question. It helps my throat. So here's the question. It's a very good one. And I have it here. He says, Joe Provenzano had subscribed, and he also had this question. If I take all the water and substrate from a cycled 20-gallon high, no filter, and put that in a 20-gallon long with a new filter, brand new filter. So in other words, he's just saying if he takes all the water and all the substrate and just moves it to a new tank, is that enough to add fish immediately and use the current filter for a second 20 liter? 20 long, I should say. He's doing a 20-gallon long. He did. So it says, I'm trying to make an established tank and use the contents to cycle 2 new tanks. Okay, so to answer Joe, I did leave an answer, but I'd like to share somewhat the concept. If you have a cycled tank, remember, what is a cycled tank? A cycled tank just merely means that the amount of bacteria that is beneficial bacteria of what it's doing is set up an equilibrium for the amount of fish or the amount of waste. Hello, Jeff. Welcome. Thank you for joining today. So If you have a cycled tank, it means that you're in equilibrium with the amount of fish that you have. So they're producing so much waste, and then bacteria are keeping up with that, changing the ammonia into nitrite, nitrites into nitrates, and then you end up with a cycled tank, something that won't kill the fish due to their own excrement, you see. So if that original tank only had dirt and paraphernalia in it, and it only had a various amounts of bacteria in it, the water is included, the water and also the substrate, that's going to be, yes, a good start. But the answer to the question is, well, what are you going to put in the tanks? Because if you now divide it in half, put half of it in one, half in the other, now you're trying to split it up into making it 2 tanks, that's fine, it's a good start. But if you throw a ton of fish in there, it won't keep up. It isn't enough bacteria set up yet. And you'd have to watch it carefully and do regular water changes to make sure that the ammonia doesn't spike. And for some time before you could get down to a more reasonable amount. And so that's basically what you would do, is you get a good start. And if you had filter media, that would even be more ideal because it's even easier. And the reason is because the filter media is got constant flow of water across the bacteria that's resident in the filter media. And it is probably easy to reproduce itself and to grow more quickly than it is than the bacteria that's just on a rock or on a fence, on a substrate. That's my feeling about how you would be able to use the tank. So yeah, you could do that. In fact, it's a great start. But again, just be careful because it may not be enough. So that was a good question because it got one thinking that what is required behind cycling a tank. Now, before you go, before I get any further, because today, in just a few minutes, I'm going to log off because I can't take too much due to the headache. But there is a couple of fish that have turned out to be a surprise. One is this cross between the electric blues and the German blues. Now, I got a batch of those. They just happened to happen. And I ended up with this batch, and I thought, well, let's grow them out, see what they look like. But I'm actually quite amazed. When you see what this looks like, I'm tempted to say, you know, these fish, if I can zoom in on them, there we go. See that fish in the back? You know what that fish looks like? These fish look like strawberries. And I started calling them strawberry rams. I don't know, just because if you look, they have a reddish pink to them. And then they have all these dots that look like strawberries. And it is one of my favorite foods, but what a particularly striking fish. And here's another one down here. See, take a look. They don't have as much black on the sides like you would find in rams, German blues. But look at the little. They're like German blues with a little pizzazz. And Discus are trying to get in there. I don't know if you can see that, but wow, these rams are really looking nice. I just call them strawberry rams. Just hang on to these for a little while and see if there's any in there that worth hanging on to. You have to find a special owner for these. Somebody who's interested in something unique, something different than the run-of-the-mill stuff. Yeah, that's what they look like. Okay, I'm resuming. Don't know what happened there. Thank you very much. Don't know what happened with there. I touched something again. This phone has not been the best when it comes to touching buttons because somehow they're always in the wrong spot. So if I froze up on you, sorry about that. And yes, thank you for linking. For those who want to join the channel or subscribe, I'm at 1,249 or something. I'm almost a quarter of my way to another 1,000. So it would be great to have people sign up if you're interested in learning things from a fish room perspective. And we touch on genetics, we touch on breeding mostly, various kinds of breeding, including discus and rams and barbs and a few plecos like today's L010As. And we've got more fish on the way. I've got some other fish that we haven't even gotten to yet, which will be in the upcoming weeks. So thank you very much. My voice is about to go. So I'm sure I'll feel better by next week and be able to do more. And thank you so much for joining. I appreciate the thumbs up. If you could give us a thumbs up. And yeah, thank you very much, Stubbs Aquatics and Strawberry Rams. Yeah, I don't know what it is about them. I just look at them and I see strawberries, and so it's like I feel like it's a really nice term for that particular look. So I do have, by the way, I do have one thought about last week. If you remember, we were talking about the black rams. And the black rams, I had a batch with all black rams, and I had a batch with all black rams, and from this pair there was one gold ram coming out. Well, I looked at it today, and I'm almost tempted to believe it's not a gold ram. I'm tempted to believe it again or not, believe it or not, it's a contaminant. So, my jury, if you're listening to this on the replay or whatever, I think I have the answer to how they could produce a spawn with 99.9% black and then one gold ram. The reason is because I think it's a contaminant. I think it's, and it happens, I don't know how it happens, but when I have so many breeder boxes next to each other, and I'm doing the feeding, somehow a little baby fish might get scooped up and go to the next box and somehow get into the next box. I've had that happen before, especially when you're using feeding with vinegar eels and the coffee paper material. Sometimes traps small itty bitty fry, which is what I'm feeding at that stage. And so it's very possible. So when it grows up and it's an electric blue, I know it's a contaminant. So, because I got so many electric blues in here coming. In fact, I'm going to show you the next batch of black rams from this very same pair. I don't see any gold in it either. So remember, we were thinking, well, we're going to see, but I keep looking at this batch and I don't see any light colored ones. This looks like another 100% batch. Now I'm going to mention that this particular tank, this one is starting to develop fungus again. Now last week we talked about curbing the fungus, and I didn't really actually complete. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pour these fish out into a clean, sterile, this is a clean and sterile breeder box, and then I will just gently pour them out, and then I will re-sterilize this breeder box to prevent the fungus from getting out of hand and taking out the fish. So what I do is I have a bucket kept down there, and I soak overnight in bleach water containers that need to be super clean that way. Now, most people would not want to use bleach. It's very dangerous to use. But here's how, I've never had an issue using it, never had an accident. I'm sure it can happen, but now let me explain how I make sure that it's proper. What I do is I soak it overnight in a bucket of water with a cap full of bleach. Then the next morning it'll be spotless. Well, first I clean it out best I can, because you want to get as much as you gunk you can get out of it. Then after soaking in bleach water, it'll be sparkling clean. Then take it out and rinse, and rinse. Rinse it very well in the sink. I use the little jet hose, get it very rinsed. Then this is the trick. Then let it dry completely before use. Dry completely. The reason why is because no bleach can remain in the part, will not remain on the box or the bucket or the whatever I'm cleaning if it's exposed to dry air, and it tends to evaporate because it will evaporate faster than water. It's like rubbing alcohol. It kind of evaporates, poof. But bleach does the same thing. It will evaporate, and it will evaporate and be gone. And so when it's completely dry, then you can use the container again. And so once it's completely dry, there is no bleach residue because any bleach that's in there will have evaporated. So that's the reason. That's what I do. And after it's completely dry, I set them up on my shelf over here, and I just line them up as I bleach them and clean them and get them ready for future use. And the moment I'm ready, I just grab them from there. Poof, grab them. The Goji, yes, thank you. Hey, good to see you. I'm just signing off now. It's a short lesson, a short visit, a short informational video today, if we want to say that. And okay, one last thing before you go. I tried something a little unique. I've seen this on various videos to do this, to breed tiger barbs a certain way. So I took that beautiful green tiger barb last week, and I said, let me grab a female from my female stock, and I grabbed a male, and I took them both and I threw them into one of these. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I got this, and this is a hang on the back. Of course, I had to use a clip because it's broken. This is a used one. This is a hang on the side contraption, but on the bottom it's all open. So you can see, let me get a better view here. So you can see I just put this inside a 2.5 gallon. So this was just kind of hanging on the side of a 2.5 gallon. In fact, I'm going to show you. 2.5 gallon is, I used this one right here. I threw this in here, left the tiger barbs for 2 days, and took them out. So the question is, do we have fry? And would I be raising them in this 2.5 gallon? This would be ideal for a concentrated breeding project here. I don't know if I have any fry yet. It'll be a few more days. So by next week, we can answer the question of whether it worked. However, I did notice a couple fungused eggs. And when I see that, I'm always happy because then I know they did spawn. So it's just a 2.5 gallon. Sorry for the glare. 2.5 gallon with plants. And I put a little piece of moss inside the little breeder box. And I set it in there. That was it. And a pair of tiger barbs. So we're going to see if we get anything out of it. On this side, these are more of the fricatus fry. And I threw in the bottom. There should be, you should see some lucipennis at the bottom. They usually hide under that leaf. They do very well when you put a leaf at the bottom. But one day we'll do a complete, shall we say, informational on the lucipennis, all the ins and outs, the pluses and minuses, what to look for, how to set up a breeding tank, and so forth. So that will be a future event too. So that was, for those of you who've stayed to the end, this is a great little tidbit, like for tiger barbs and easy to breed barbs. I think that's going to work. We're going to see. And you don't have to do the whole 5 gallon and the false bottom and everything. And maybe you get more fish in that way. I don't know, but we'll see. But sometimes a tiger barb might get excited and just go for it and maybe produce a good number of fry. I'm just looking for, I think I have about 25, 30 tiger barbs right now, so, but I could use another 50. A tank of tiger barbs is a sight to see. All green tiger barbs, I love it. But one of my favorite fish, even though it's a common fish, some people like bettas, some people like goldfish. Okay, I like green tiger barbs. All right, so that's all it is. But thank you very much. Thank you. And if you have any more questions, I don't think I saw any questions in the comments today. So please leave them your questions down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Now, what's next? I'm going to tell you right now that Aqua Malik has been waiting for me to get off so that he can go live. He's going to be going live, if not right shortly, very soon. He says that he's got an unboxing, and he told me that he's got some new fish. But I'll let him spill the beans as to what, and enjoy that video by Aqua Malik. So don't forget, be on the watch for Aqua Malik in the next few minutes, and enjoy your afternoon. Thank you so much for coming for Fish Easy 411 on a Saturday afternoon. And we'll be in touch very soon. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. As always, keep it real.